Hey. Oh, holy shit, I found myself in a computer, a vaporwavy computer. Oh, but what better to be done than record a podcast?
Because we ain't getting out of here.
Nah, this is Coprolalia, the podcast that is, and we're sitting in a vaporwave landscape.
Yes. Yep. So, the floor for what seems like miles is just a checkerboard pattern, a chess or checkers board pattern, and we've decided to record in this particular spot because it's the only spot that has anything. It has two busts on either side of us, a couple of ferns, and a big yellow triangle.
I'm gonna give that. Oh, that's got a real nice sound to it. This triangle there. It's bloody beautiful.
That's exactly what it sounds like. It's a live recording of the triangle. It just does that randomly though, so you might have to put up with that.
There's a couple of little glitches in the system here in this bloody vaporwave bloody landscape, I'll tell you. Oh man, it's just out of control. What is that? My goodness. Crazy. Anyway, this is Giles. How are you?
Hello.
Maybe we should bloody talk about what this bloody podcast is for anyone tuning in for the very first time, which is highly likely because there's not many of you at the moment. But we're going to get you there.
We should just treat every podcast as someone's first podcast.
I'm glad you chose us to be your first podcast.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, have you ever heard radio? Imagine radio without the preparation or the money. You got yourself a podcast.
Yeah, you've got... Yep.
Imagine a radio show without trained professionals running the desk, and imagine no sponsors, and imagine having a couple of boys who don't know what they're going to talk about until they start talking about it. Let me tell you, you got yourself a podcast.
It wouldn't be Coprolalia without talking shit.
Look it up, motherfuckers.
All right.
Sorry, I had to have a little drinky.
Let's bring him in. Let's reel him in. The hook's in their mouth. We just got to reel them in.
Content would help with that. So let's Giles, I'm just going to start us off with just something I wrote down in my book, my little notepad. Creamside touching.
Wait, say again.
Creamside touching.
Creamside touching.
It's my favorite album from the 1970s by hair metal band Big.
Excellent. Creamside touching. Yep. I actually don't know how to interpret that. My first thought is like a pie.
Yeah. You're close. You're close.
And so someone's been covered in cream and they're touching the person.
Both people are covered in cream on one particular side, and they touch those sides together. Then you got yourself some cream side touching.
Jesus Christ.
No, I saw a woman touch two cream sides together. She's a cream side toucher. At work, there was these two women that came in. They brought their own little tiny cupcakes. We don't serve tiny cupcakes, so I wasn't too upset. We weren't losing a sale there. But they had little knives. They had knives and forks, full size knives and forks to go with their tiny little cupcakes. Tiny little cupcakes. Have you ever seen a cupcake? They're small enough as they are. There's no muffin.
Yeah, usually you just shove them in your fat open mouth.
Well, they thought they were going to be dainty and sophisticated about it, and so they bloody took their knives and forks out. One of the women though, she had a little nibble. I didn't know you could take I didn't know you could take a bite tinier than the cupcake already was, but she managed to do so.
They sound like a fucking comedy duo, just trying to shake up someone's cafe experience.
I think they were. Yeah, we were watching a skit. There's probably hidden cameras. This might show up on the Eric Andre show or something like that. I don't know.
Nice.
But yeah, she took a tiny bite of this tiny cupcake, tinier bite than the said cupcake, and quickly determined that she wasn't into it. She just wasn't feeling this cream-covered cupcake. And so the other woman thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both cupcakes and I'm going to bring them together. And she held them out in front of her and kind of slowly brought her fingers together until the cream sides were touching. And then she put the whole thing into her mouth. She took
yeah, there we go.
That's how you are supposed to eat a goddamn tiny little cupcake. And these cupcakes were fucking small.
Ooh, can I have a bite? Munch the whole thing in one bite. One big bite.
So that's all I had for that story.
I quite liked that story. It's about bringing people together.
It's about bringing people and tiny cupcakes together. Only true friends will touch the cream size of their cupcakes together. Comment below if you've got a friend who you would touch cream sides together with.
Yeah, if you're down for it, I wouldn't not do it with you.
You haven't seen my creamy side yet. It's a whole nother level.
No.
I don't know if my side can take more cream from another.
I haven't seen my own cream side yet. So Rai,
Yo.
you are now in a tree,
Yeah, sweet.
surrounded by hungry lions.
Oh, no. Oh, Jesus. You know what I fucking hate about that is the sound that they make. It just shivers me to my bones. Oh, bloody.
Because one of them's stuck in a loop. One of them...
Oh, we got a glitchy lion.
Yeah, glitchy lion, because we're in the vaporwave world. So.
Yeah. No, I think that's quite apparent. The listeners are very aware of what's happening.
It sounds like it's coughing up something violently.
It's coughing up fear.
Yeah. Why the hell are there lions in this goddamn vaporwave nightmare?
There's a duck in there as well.
No, that was too silly. The duck was too silly. So anyway, alright, you're in the tree right now.
Yeah.
You've got a phone in your hand, and you've got enough battery to call one person.
Alright. Bring. Bring. Yeah, phones sound like.
Yes.
Ring.
Wait, are you getting cold or?
No, I'm ringing you.
Oh, okay, alright. Hello?
Yeah, phone's like, g'day, Owen Wilson. Here stuck in a bloody tree, up a tree I am, in this vaporwave territory, surrounded by hungry lions. What is it?
I don't know what you want me to do about that.
Well, besides be surprised, which you clearly are already, I need you to help. I need you to help me
Why
out.
are lions there?
It's a vaporwave land. It's pretty good.
Owen Wilson, fuck. I just don't know what to do about that.
Well, you're a big movie star. You've made such hit films as.
It's true. Do you know Jackie Chan?
Yeah, I know Jackie Chan.
I love Jackie Chan.
Oh, you've worked with him, have you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, can you get Jackie Chan down here? Because he could probably kick some lions' butt.
I don't have his number. Why would I have his number?
You worked with him on a successful film, amongst other successful films, such as Zoolander, and Zoolander...
That was years ago.
You just made a
Jackie
second
Chan
one.
wasn't in Zoolander.
Well, clearly you're the song we
Shanghai Noon you're thinking of. Shanghai Noon you're thinking of.
Well, you should get your ass down here Shanghai soon. Alright, fuck you, O. Wilson. No help except for being surprised.
How'd you get this number?
I'm gonna hang up on you right now, I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna hang up and do the bit of the... Bop, you know what these phones sound like.
Alright, so the scenario ends, you die, you get eaten by a vaporwave line.
Improv. Tell you right now.
I was very aware of how terrible I was doing it in the beginning. Like in the beginning, I just didn't allow the character to absorb me.
Yeah.
Or me to absorb it.
We've only ever done two improv things.
Two improv.
Yeah. It's just a nightmare.
It's great though. I enjoy it.
This is so far the most chaotic episode that I can think of that we've done so far.
Perfect. And we've also got Joel dropping in at some random time. It's brilliant.
We've got no idea.
Yeah, he'll just be here all of a sudden.
Okay, well, let's just have a little bit of a rant. Let's just have a little bit of a chat, and then we'll get into some philosophy or something. We'll talk about something that's interesting. But for now, I just want to tell you right now about one thing that's pissing me the fuck off. Is this new? It's not a meme. What is it? It's like this, like an internet. Thing that's going around, and I can't really describe it. But it's just people post a list of names and say these people with these names in this year. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to get eaten by a goddamn Tyrannosaurus. Tag your mate.
Random.
Tag your friends.
Yeah, tag your friends. Well, look how common my name is.
It's fucking horseshit. It's boring.
Right. You realize that it's actually because we're jealous. So
I haven't been tagged in a single goddamn one.
Giles does not appear in any of those. Tag your mate who's definitely getting married this year.
we should actually make another one, like
and just add like Muhammad and just like a whole bunch of Muhammad's
yeah.
extremely common. That was a bad example. Just crazy names. Yeah, I agree.
It's funny how like we think Muhammad and things like that are really exotic, or like somebody's got the name Wong is like the most common name in the entire world.
No, I think it's Muhammad.
Well, fact check it.
Nah, fuck fact checking.
But
this is 2018, bitch.
These are the
Ain't no fucking thing is true anymore.
Guarantee there's a lot more Muhammads than there are Johns or Peters or Bobs, Bills.
So
Teds.
Muhammad Wong is
Muhammad Wong Smith. Should technically be the most common name in the entire world.
The best of every culture. All three cultures.
There are only three. All
what are you gonna rant about? Yeah. So those sheets that are like, if your friend's name is on this list, he's definitely gonna get married this year. Or this guy vomits every time he drinks. Tag your friend.
That's what I sound like when I vomit.
Oh, please replace real life sounds with video game sounds. I would.
It's so much more fun.
Yeah. Things would be gentler. Instead of someone clapping, it would just be like a dum 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 dum. That's essentially a clap. Yeah, just a sea of that. I would love that.
If you go to a comedy show and there's a sea of people, but you just hear that one sound effect at the end of every joke. Or at the end of end of Obama's speech, going, "Yes, we can." That sounds like a gun, actually. That's maybe untasteful.
Yeah, people firing their guns into the air.
Yeah, Obama's gonna save up.
Oh my gosh! So I saw this video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Here's my recommendation to whoever's looking for some funny content. There's a lot of swearing, so you're gonna have to get over that.
Jesus.
You little snowflake. It's called Alex Jones Gets Cucked by Donald Trump, or something to that exact effect. And
I'm very excited about this already.
Alex Jones, for once, the only time I've ever seen him rant, I actually felt him. I felt what he was saying.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, he just starts saying fuck a lot, but. Yeah. He's referring to Donald Trump, and he just goes, "Is there no longer a single like fucking decent human being in this goddamn fucking planet?" Yeah, and he like in his rage, he pushes a chair like a revolving chair. What do you call them?
Like a wheelie
they
chair.
spin around.
Like an
yeah,
office
whatever.
chair.
Those things. He like pushes it, and it continues to spin for like the rest of the video. And the camera keeps panning over to the chair while he's ranting. Yeah, it's very funny.
That'd be so much fun to like undercut a giant like motivational speech with a a plate drop or something, or like one of those metal pans in a restaurant just drop like. For a good minute.
The channel's called Vic Burger, and the video's called Alex Jones Gets Cucked by Donald Trump. Very funny. Boom. Bum.
All right. I did have one thing to talk about because I was watching Anthony Fantano, and he's my favorite music boy. He's my favorite music reviewer. If I listen to a song, there's almost a guarantee that he reviewed it because that's where I get all my music from. Which is lazy of me. And if you've got a song I should listen to, stick it in down there in the comment section.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, queen. So he was talking about, he was doing one of his segments, which is called Let's Argue. It's where he responds to tweets that are unpopular opinions or hot takes, and that's a good bloody segment. Very funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
in fact, that's great. Let's just sort of steal that.
Yeah, absolutely. I want people to comment some shit at us below, which we can respond to. Guarantee, if you comment on our video with an opinion or an actual comment that is worth responding to, you'll get in this show.
Yeah. Pretty much, we read every single. We've read We've read the comment that has been left on one of our videos. So yes, we
100% response rate so far.
Yes.
Anyway, so he was talking about though. Somebody posted about Drake and appropriating other cultures and stuff like that. And their
fucking hell.
Their argument. Well, this is good. This is why I want to talk to you about it, because obviously you'll be like.
So you want me to stroke? You want me to? That's uncomfortable as fuck. Anyway, back at the Coprolalia podcast.
So people talking about appropriating cultures in music and art and in general. Now, obviously, people are
brilliant, good stuff. I'm glad that other cultures are making their way into music and having an effect on it.
Yes, queen. This is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Is people who are getting oversensitive about appropriation because of PC culture going a bit too far. No, actually, let me correct that, because PC culture can obviously go too far. However, this is kind of like a bastardized version of PC culture, I believe. Anyway, but yeah, people.
What is politically correct?
I think it's almost. Surely it's impossible to be completely politically correct while also talking about.
Why did we even choose politics as the word to describe what we would like to achieve with the empathy towards other cultures?
Let me give
why politically correct? Like, even if
correct?
It was just diplomatic correctness or
yeah, that's pretty good. Morally correct.
Radically.
That sounds like you're saying someone's a moron.
Moronically correct.
I guess it makes sense here because the definition of politics is the activities associated with the governance of a country or area, especially the debate between parties having power. So that's kind of what we're talking about primarily. Is the
right? Yeah,
is the power dynamics.
And I think politically correct. Oh, no, sorry, cultural appropriation. I think it specifically refers to a dominant culture. And it's regard to a minority culture or something like that.
Yeah.
You just heard Joel drop in and then just fade away. What was I saying? Yeah, so when a larger culture just sort of absorbs smaller cultures, I think they want to avoid that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I guess it's also acting as if the other culture is... I mean, you're automatically assuming that there's kind of bad intent behind what they're doing, or ignorance behind what they're doing. But also another thing is kind of assuming that the other culture has no power to do the same, if that makes sense. Like, so
Yeah.
if you were to adopt something like Native Indian music into your music, then I can see why you might want to be a little bit more careful about it. I don't want to rule it out entirely at all, but people would be slightly more careful about it. But if you're incorporating like Chinese culture, like they're like the biggest fucking group of people on the planet, and they obviously
Right.
adopt our culture all the time as well.
They're all in a big club together too.
Isn't there?
They're in a big group chat, and they all, yeah.
Isn't there like a back and forth between the two cultures, which people seem to bloody ignore?
And there's so okay. Let's say. By the way, I want to say hey to Joel.
Yeah.
Hi. We're talking about cultural appropriation. I was thinking of giving an example. So say through genetics, through your DNA, through your nationality, you've got two Chinese parents. However, they moved to America to raise you. So you didn't grow up in Chinese culture or as a Chinese person. You grew up as an American with Chinese parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what are you allowed to just adopt Chinese culture as your own?
I
Yeah.
guess you'd have like a mixed culture, wouldn't you? Because your parents, how, like, are they...
It would be a mixed culture. That would be
Yeah.
totally true. But I'm saying, so that this person didn't grow up in any rural part of China or anything like that. Is it okay for them to just adopt the Chinese culture of, say, maybe the village that their parents were from? Even though
I think you should the way you should be looking at it is like if two Chinese parents who also had Chinese parents, like, you know,
yeah.
There's a generation of Chinese people, but they lived in America or another place instead. So they had they were Chinese, but they didn't have any Chinese culture. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm trying to. So I don't know. I have Irish ancestry, and I also have like sort of Scandinavian ancestry, and I haven't grown up with either one of those cultures, and I don't think it would be racist of me to adopt them. However, where does the line stop? What if you grew up down the road from a Chinese person, and you loved it? You loved what they were about, and they almost acted as a mentor for you.
Yeah.
But you aren't allowed to even introduce elements of their culture into your own life because you don't have an ancestry that ties you to it. I think that's absurd to me.
Yeah, totally. And this is
I think cultural appropriation is like something white people have made up. Like, it's a first world fucking problem.
I believe it could have been made up by white people, but it's not entirely enforced by only white people.
Yeah.
There's definitely like certain like rituals, like I guess ritual kind of gear or, you know, ceremonial gear that they probably wouldn't want used.
Yeah.
In certain places.
I can understand that, and I've done a whole lot of research into Buddhism and sort of Eastern religions, and I love them, and I actually have already begun adopting, I guess, like Buddhist beliefs and things like that, which Buddhism actually asks people to do, or is entirely inviting people to do. See, I don't think that's racism. I don't think that's exploitative, and I think whoever is trying to tell me that's wrong to do is naive themselves, or at least ignorant themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was my kind of issue with it. It's just essentially based on intent. Like if you know a shitload about a particular culture and you've studied it and you know, not that I think you need to do, like you don't need to go to the greatest lengths every time, but if you do know a lot more about what you're doing and your intent is just to kind of draw a light on it and to kind of to show your appreciation for the culture rather than just straight up steal it. So it's like that compared to somebody wearing a Native American headdress to a doof without any knowledge of the culture or what that's used for, or like that could be, that one's a bit more on the nose. Like that could be easily insulting to the people. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yes, the issue there is just total ignorance. They're not. I still have these reservations about that one too, because I understand that it is meaningful to a Native American person to see that or to employ that headdress. However, the idea that it's like Cadbury copywriting purple. It's not like you can't just take feathers on the head. They are technically arranged in particular patterns and stuff to suggest Native American aesthetic. So I understand that they're deliberately and directly borrowing from a particular aesthetic from Native Americans. However, if someone was to make a different kind of headdress that's not related to it, I think that's fine.
Do you think it's also giving too much importance and power to human culture? I mean, I don't want this to come across as if, like, because obviously from a place of privilege it could sound like, I just want to use whatever the fuck I want. But nonetheless, it's kind of taking the idea that these things are so significant. It's like
sacred.
They're sacred. They're sacred to these people, but they're not sacred to us. And okay, so again, this is about the balance of power. So if because we can insult fucking Christians and Catholics all day long.
Yes.
Even Jewish people to a higher degree than we could to like a Asian religion or an African religion or an African culture. Like that's instantly more on the nose to most people than if we were insulting Catholics or Christians. You know what I'm talking about?
And we have musicians that, like Jimi Hendrix and like others, who will wear military uniforms as part of their act.
Yeah.
So we do allow our version of sacred to be, what's the term, like blasphemed or something? I don't know. Like we do allow that because any transparent and free culture should be allowed to criticize itself and
totally.
and reduce the sacred from sacred to what it truly is, which is absurd.
And I think you should be able to criticize other cultures as well. It's just like again, it's about if it's coming from a place of ignorance and fear and bigotry, then obviously
you can tell.
Yeah, you can easily
tell. Prejudice looks ignorant.
Yeah. It's just double standards. There's double standards everywhere. Like people will defend certain cultures, but then what about Middle Eastern countries where women have just no rights at all? Like you can't. You
got to respect their culture, Rai.
Well, no.
You got to respect the fact that women don't have respect. You need to respect that.
Yeah. And also,
this is the paradox that is worth criticizing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, for the record, I don't. I definitely criticize that. I criticize that aspect of their culture. I don't believe that's because of their faith. Like that's a cultural thing, and it's also changing now, which indicates that it's not inherently part of the faith because it's changing.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
Saudi Arabia, women can now legally get a license to drive. Which is mental. Like that's such a huge shift from where they were at. So obviously, it's not inherent in who they are, but it's just a cultural thing, and I think
Yeah.
it should be and can be criticized.
Let's end that segment by saying we love you Native Americans. We love you Chinese people.
Three
We love
white
you.
guys from Australia give you the big old thumbs up.
I actually don't love the Chinese. No.
Have you got a story for us, Joel?
Not really.
Okay.
I spent the weekend in Melbourne.
Nice.
Yeah, that was about it. Went to a party.
Did you learn anything about yourself while you were there?
I learnt that I am scared of doing monos and wheelchairs. We had a wheelchair at the party and we're doing monos in it. I was.
I love it.
A couple of people were doing it, but then 2 people fell backwards and both hit their heads on concrete.
Oh shit! Well, put on a fucking
I
helmet.
did it on the carpet. I was being smart.
Yeah.
And then we spun a fuckload of fire.
Nice.
Yeah, decompression session from Confest.
Hell yeah. Okay. Man, I gotta get in on these decompression sessions.
What's the decompression session?
It's like a come down from a festival or a big event.
So it's like a party, but like a chill party.
It's like an after party.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Very good. I think you're Joel.
Yes, what else happened? Not much. We just had a sleepover party. We had a discussion about certain things.
Well, what sort of things?
Yeah, what sort of thing?
I seem to have gotten myself tangled
Ooh.
into someone's thing now.
So
I went-
tangled meaning like you're like sort of caught up in it?
Yeah, I kind of met this guy called Matthew
Yeah.
at Tanglewood, and I was on the dance floor, and he comes up to me and he's like, "You're not dirty enough."
Oh yeah, and he rubbed
Yeah,
the
this
dirt
guy,
all
this
over
guy,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he picks up a handful of dirt off the ground and rubs it all in my chest. And like this was over New Year, so it was fucking hot in summer, and I'm pretty pale. I am smashing sunscreen on, and he just rubbed dirt all over me.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was just like, oh well. And just kept fucking talking to him for a bit and did some poi and shit with him, and
Just for those who don't know, poi means that he grabbed his nuts.
yeah, I spin in my balls.
Yeah.
I got big green balls. At the time, my balls were pink though. When I met Matthew, now they're green.
Oh yeah. So the tangle. What's the tangle?
Yeah. Anyway, me and this Matthew guy fucking started hanging out shit, and he runs these events called Viral Happiness
Yeah.
down
Cool.
in Melbourne.
Melbourne,
and-
Australia.
Yeah, Melbourne, Australia, Victoria, Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do they entail?
Planet Earth.
It's pretty much a place where everyone is welcome to come down and just hang out and do what they want.
Be happy.
Pardon me. Yeah.
So,
But it's very circus kind of focused at the moment. Even though it can be anything, it's very circus based. So it's a lot of people coming down and playing with dragon staffs, poi staffs, double staffs, hoops, slacklines, juggling balls, unicycles, just shit like that. Yeah, and he gets all the gear. He brings down the speakers, water, mats, table, I don't know, gazebos and shit, whatever. His ones are gonna be pretty big. Mine's gonna be pretty big. But yeah,
it's
he
pretty.
does this shit. And yeah, I just kind of got caught up in it because that's been point.
Nice one.
It really excites me.
I'm happy about it.
It excites me meeting. Not that I go to many of these things like doofs and parties and stuff like that. Just not really my kind of thing. But it gets me really excited seeing people who put so much time and effort into organizing it. And people like our mate Cameron Holman, who just puts in so much creative energy into building these elaborate parties that people go to and creating this safe space where all these people can explore all these ideas and just relax. And this is really exciting, especially in this kind of time at the moment where everything seems totally fucked. And that's if you spend your time online, then everything just looks like it's turning to shit. And
yeah, it does. Hey, but then you get back to the people and you realize, oh, as people, no, we're actually getting really like sensitive towards one another. Just on the internet, we're also getting more abusive towards one another.
I think, in terms of how we treat one another, I think things are probably getting better overall. But it's just when you're online, everything obviously like, you're seeing the worst of the worst, and everyone's attacking ideas of one another rather than the actual people. If two groups find each other, if two groups kind of come into contact with each other in a hostile way, they're usually attacking articles and tweets or like just kind of clips of what's been discussed amongst each group, and then and so it's not even like either group is actually sending out these attacks. It's just like these two ideas attacking one another.
Yeah, it's going through the process of if you're going to present an idea, you're inviting it to be criticized, but you're also inviting for some sort of resolution, some sort of refined version of that idea. So it's a good process. However, it can look really ugly.
Maybe this is the darkest part of the night before the dawn.
Yeah, nice.
I just need to undercut that because that was too cheesy.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah.
I mean, the storm before the calm.
Yeah. Because like I always get scared that like because the internet is such a safe haven for small communities to find a voice, which is great in almost all cases. But then you obviously get Nazis have a safe place and flat earthers have a safe place to just create echo chambers for themselves.
Flat earthers deserve a safe place.
Yeah, sure.
Like just remove all sharp objects from them. Let them flail about.
Yeah.
And yeah.
They just don't get to sit at the table of scientists who are doing sciencey things today.
No, yes, keep them far away from tables.
This is a very obvious statement, but it's just disagreeing with a fact is not an opinion. That does not give you. That's not. The word opinion gets labeled, it gets attached to almost anything that people can say or any idea that people can have, where idea would be a lot more appropriate. You can't just ignore the collection of human knowledge as it is at this point. You can disagree with things if you have some proof, if you have some facts to back it up, if you can try and work to disprove it. But if you have nothing and you're just disagreeing with it, that's not an opinion. That's just being incorrect. Maybe.
Yeah, so we've debunked science, we've debunked atheism.
Religion, we debunked that.
Yeah, debunked Nothing. Chinese people.
Nothing
debunked
secret.
Drake. Debunked. What's next?
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, doesn't exist.
It's a fabrication.
Next. Yeah, in fact, no. So I, about 2 podcasts ago, I brought up, I mentioned she was a fake celebrity. I just want to revise that.
Oh, yeah.
She is, in fact, a really shit celebrity. There you go.
Yeah, well, we there's an age now of people who are famous for not really doing anything. They just show up and are just characters in a show. Or characters in this fabricated reality.
This is just a very short Kim Kardashian rant that I'll go on. First of all, Like, I don't actually hate Kim Kardashian, first of all. However,
She is of no consequence.
yeah,
Her fans are.
everybody, you are never going to be Kim Kardashian. You weren't born into the exact right family, and you weren't given the exact right amount of money, and you don't look the exact right way. So to idolize her and think that the way she lives is some sort of thing to aspire, you're just like fooling yourself.
It's a foolish. I don't know. Is it almost a foolish ploy at all to aspire to be like to view people who have just made it successful. Like, so people look up to somebody who came from nothing and they worked their way up to having a whole bunch of shit. However, depending on what they worked on to get there and depending on what they're using it for, it's not really the best thing to look up to.
Yes, in fact, one thing that comes to mind is Sidney Meyer.
Don't know it. Go.
Okay, so he's an Australian legend. You fucking uneducated.
I know the
dickhead.
Sidney Meyer Bowl. I know that's a venue.
Yeah, so he invented using cereal from bowls.
Yep.
No, he started Maya, and yes, he has the Sidney Meyer Music Bowl.
Oh, he started
He's also
Maya.
He's also done a whole lot of other philanthropic, awesome stuff. Like,
Yep.
he would do an annual homeless, feed the homeless
All right, cool.
stuff.
Yep.
But anyway, he started Maya.
Yep.
I think the first one was in Bendigo or something.
For those who don't know, Maya is a giant.
Is my store.
Is a giant clothing store in Australia. I don't know if it's international.
I think no, it is in America. Yeah,
I googled clothes. I went to Google Maya and I googled clothes.
Yeah, well,
Yep. Oh, first thing that
Cereal
comes up is
from
Maya.
bowls.
Okay, keep going.
So his story is that he started out as a door-to-door salesman for shoelaces.
Yep.
You can't just do that again.
No.
You can't hear that story and go, you know what, I can do that. And then
Yep.
you start selling shoelaces door to door and think you're going to end up with a chain of Maya stores. It's not how it works.
It's no, obviously most people won't read into a story like that and take it totally literally, but for the people who do, I guess that's what we're attacking right now. Is you hear a story like that and you think like, oh, okay, cool. It's just I have to follow these steps, and it's also an indication that within this society, you just work from the bottom and you can get up to the top. And if you just put your fucking you put in hard yards, which is just horse shit.
Back when he was selling shoelaces door to door,
Yep.
the top 1% of people on the planet didn't almost have 2/3 of total wealth. That's a real statistic, apparently, by about 20 something.
Yeah.
1% of the world's population will have 2/3 of the entire world's wealth.
There has to be
Just think about that.
some sort of uprising or something, right? Do you
To
think?
have billions of people fighting over a single third,
Yep.
you're asking for like bloodshed. You're asking for poor people to fight tooth and nail with other poor people. So yeah, let's just forget about money for a bit. Us poor people.
Do you think there's enough selfish people in the world?
Dude, you don't just have to kill the other poor people. We can kill the rich people, man.
Well, that's what I was about to
see-
say.
Now you're thinking.
Do you think there's enough selfish people that the rich people could just pay off people below to
Oh yeah,
defend
you're gonna
the rich?
have. It'll be like Django Unchained.
It's gonna be a
how-
whole thing. It's
No,
gonna be
you know how Leonardo in Django Unchained, Leonardo had a black servant who
Yep,
really
yep.
loved working for him.
Yep.
It's like that. You're gonna have poor people who are just like paid to be security guards, and they'll actually fight other poor people
Yeah.
because the rich people are looking after them. It's like betraying, basically betraying your family.
But dude, poor people who are hired as bodyguards may allow other poor people to attack these people, pretending they are.
Oh yeah, we
like,
could pay off the other poor
yeah,
people,
yeah.
like sleeper cell, sleeper
they're-
agents.
Yeah.
Now
Poor
you're
people
thinking
sleeping
again.
agents.
Got
They
some good ideas, Joel.
There will
Dude,
be.
there's always a way around everything. And the bowls.
Do you
destroying
think?
rich people.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, but how do we distribute all of their wealth?
Bitcoin?
Whoever's just fucking on it, mate. Whoever's just fucking keen to get that money, boys. Fucking on it.
Hey, you keen? Have some money. I like it.
You keen to go raid this fucking rich person's house? Cool, you get a cut, mate.
Yeah, in fact, redistribution of tremendous wealth is probably a really difficult thing to do.
Oh, for sure.
Unless you just created a UBI system, you shared all of it simultaneously, evenly amongst everyone.
This podcast sounds more and more like communist propaganda as we continue recording them.
I want to be a modern day Che Guevara.
I want to be a modern day Vlad the Impaler.
Except with your dick and they don't die.
Yeah.
Nice. Impale them over a week.
I'll impale rich people and scare off the other rich people to become poor people. I'll sit down and have my lunch in front of the rich people being impaled and just be like, yes. Fuck you,
Yes.
Reinhardt, you fat bitch. You don't even need to pull her down to the pole, boy. She's fucking huge.
Alright. Just disclaimer, nothing wrong with a little bit of weight on the body.
No.
I've got a little bit of chub going.
As long as you're a nice person, you're cool.
Yeah, true.
General Reinhardt's a fucking bitch. Go fuck yourself. Actually, there was this fucked ass video of let me find it really quick. Fracking can go fuck itself.
Oh yeah.
River on fire. Gas explodes from Australian river near fracking. Side.
What?
Yeah.
Explain.
So yeah, I've seen shots from the video.
Explain.
Yeah.
So
Do you know how
fracking-
podcast works?
I can't really explain it because I don't really have. Okay, so the video is a guy, and he's fucking in a canoe. Okay, so this guy, Australian guy,
He's
in a
just
canoe.
banging someone in a canoe.
Yeah, just in a canoe, in the water, obviously, in the canoe.
He's in a canoe in a tree.
Just in his backyard.
No, it's somewhere in Australia, I imagine.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
So it says here.
Yep.
The Australian lawmaker decided to show the effects in the most dramatic way possible. Jeremy Buckingham of Queensland went down to a local river and lit the
Ooh.
water itself on fire.
Yes. So yeah,
What?
a flame basically lit up the whole surface of that part of the river.
Yeah, and it was
Holy
pretty big
shit.
too. Like, I don't think he was fucking expecting it either. He
Yeah,
lit
yeah,
the
yeah.
water on fire, and then like suddenly
He
he's
realized-
fucking where his arm was on fire. It was just like, oh my god, holy shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's really terrifying to be honest.
Yeah, and this fat fucking bitch called Gina Reinhardt, like, I just want to make money.
She's got way worse traits than just being overweight, Joel.
It's a low dangling
Yeah.
fruit.
Her face looks like what would happen if you, like in the movie The Fly, if you mix together a vagina and a penis. And what came out the other end was, yeah, that would be Gina Reinhardt.
Wow.
Also a tub of lard. She's a fucking fat bitch.
I'm laughing at the irreverence of being able to call her a fat bitch. However,
Hey,
there's I think it's in Marxism where he explains if you rather than attack the person's rather than debate the ideas that the person's presenting to like attack their character and appearance is like the sort of the less poignant way of criticizing someone.
Yep.
So yeah.
and if I knew what poignant meant, I would understand.
It just means like just the exact right thing, the most effective way of.
Of it having a debate?
I can't poignantly explain it.
Gina Reinhardt is worth $10 billion. Is that possibly? Is that? It is.
She's not worth that much, man.
Net worth.
I know what you mean, but he means just like her
monetary value.
her financial assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got nothing else in her life. She's just like, all I have is $10 billion.
There has to be a. You can't. Can you? I can't imagine the mindset you would be in. Like you would have to be insane. I think completely insane once you get to that kind of point of power and wealth. I don't know if the human mind can take it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Also, she once like made a statement saying that like the lower class only exists because we gamble and drink, and if we stopped drinking and gambling, we would become very rich.
Yeah, but she probably does heaps of cocaine and just eats like a fucking bucket of prawns. Like,
Come on. Dude.
in like a massive bar, like an iron foot bar. You know the ones with like little fucking dragon feet on, like one of those cast iron bars. Yeah, probably one of those.
They're cool.
There, eating prawns.
If you had the option,
yes, I love fracking.
You've just nailed our thumbnail. Like,
oh yeah, totally.
We're definitely drawing a big person in a bathtub in a vaporwave landscape, and Rai can be up in a tree surrounded by lions. Right.
It's Gina Reinhardt's caused the lions to become sentient through fracking. And they want to kill all humans for making them sentient.
A river of fire, nice one. I like it.
Yeah. Makes animals smart, like humans. They're just like, I don't want to feel this pain. Take it back!
Alright, let's do letters, I reckon.
Yeah, we're coming up on the last 10 minutes.
So, I said letters, but I mean letter.
Yes.
Let me get it.
Let me get the
I'll just be
letter
back.
out.
Pass it here. Pass it here.
Boom, 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 boom,
Okay, we were reading a little bit of a letter.
boom, boom.
Everybody shut up.
There we go. I've just passed the letter to Rai or Joel. Either one.
Let's get Joel to read it.
Yep.
Yep.
So Joel, would you like to read this letter?
All right, Joel's gone. Let's. I'll read the letter. Send it over to me. Pass me the letter, please, Giles.
Yeah, here you go. I'll put it back through the mailing system to send it to you.
We got time. We can wait.
All right. Here we go. Flash forward 20 years. Whoop. Have you got it?
Yeah, I've got it.
Right? Yeah, cool. All right.
The mystery of podcasting. Dear Coprolalia, crunchy kid, autistic fuckasses. Off to a good start. Which planet are you limp dick lip-tard feminists invading with your gay commie cucklodics this week? Never mind, I don't care. I also want to tell you how great it is as a 65-year-old veteran to finally hear a normal podcast hosted by two white God-fearing boys. No women. No, I can't. No. No women. Can't. No women. No. None of those. No N-words is in here. No.
Want to hear what good pussy sounds like?
No. No quiz. Just some nice boys wondering shit while they fly through space or some shit. Actually, I had one question. I asked that lesbian Rai, spelt my name wrong, if he'll dress up like my son and date a girl for $500 US. Fred Smitherson or something. I can't remember. I took my wife's name and she's dead. I'll do anything for $500. Tell you that right now.
We get
Ooh.
some stragglers who listen to this podcast, man. Seriously.
We have had no one who is sane, as far as I can tell, write into us.
I'll get my mum to write a letter.
Oh, that would be fun.
That'd be fantastic. Tune in next time for Joel's mum.
She was on the last podcast, actually.
She's
She
becoming
comes on a lot.
she's becoming becoming a feature.
Like me.
Great. Good letter. Don't write again. Sweet.
Yeah, what the hell, Fred Smitherson?
Yeah, fuck you. And fuck you, Connor, while we're at it.
All right, guys. Anything we want to tie up at the end here?
Is this the end?
We're pulling up 5 minutes. Anything you want to talk about? Giles, what are you up to?
I've been I don't know. Do you feel like your artistic your artistic inspiration sort of shifts? Because at one point in time, all my thoughts were devoted towards visual art. But
Yep.
recently, like, I've been coming up with more and more lyrical and musical sort of inspiration.
Yeah, totally.
So-
I struggle
so-
really hard to focus on one thing for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I went from digital art to, I guess dancing.
Flow art. Yeah.
I
And
think,
now you're doing digital art again.
Yeah.
I think it's important to
Yeah.
entertain whatever you're interested in terms of creativity and artistic
Yeah.
output. Otherwise, you go stale, and you're going to take anything you get. You can take anything from what you learn from any other discipline or medium and bring it back into your art anyway. It's also only a problem for the audience. It's not a problem for you. If the audience is waiting in the wings, wanting to see something, then they'll be a bit frustrated. But
Yeah, and I like to think I've made no promises with my Patreon, but
Yeah.
but
No, you
I
haven't.
feel like I do have to deliver something that is tangible to them.
yeah. Well, I've tried to strip away some things I was working on, and just I've got my daily cartoons and the pigeon cartoons, and that's it. And so now it's relatively easy to kind of get those together, and so I've got more time to focus on other things like trying to write some more comedy bits and some more poetry and stuff like that. But not pushing out any new projects on deadlines or anything.
Yeah, because I'm working really hard on the comic that I'm making.
Yeah.
I can give you a name.
Ooh, there's an announcement.
It's called Rom's Cosmic Chronicles.
That's a good name.
Cheers. It's about No, I won't say anymore.
Like there was always, I think, especially at this kind of point where before art turns into a job, it's not really a stress. Like, and once something becomes a job and you're setting time and forcing yourself to be creative, I think the mind kind of just flicks over anyway. I found that with my cartoons is like at the start I was struggling to find ideas, and I go through phases of struggling to find ideas. But when I actually have a deadline, it's like, oh shit, I haven't got nothing to do today. I force myself into it, and I'll usually come up with something. It won't be like I'm not thinking about it all day long, and I'm not like running home to try to get back to drawing. But I'm still thinking about other shit, so it doesn't concern me as much. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I dig it.
Anyway, I've got a new pigeon interview out on Instagram. If anyone's interested in that, you can follow the link down below. That's pretty much all I've got that's new besides my daily cartoons. Yeah.
Cool.
This has been Coprolalia. Joel's clearly eating.
Wait.
Joel's
I
eating something.
started playing with hoops. That's my thing.
Ooh.
Are you gonna throw up any Instagram videos or anything of it?
Nah, they're not like, it's probably not the hooping you're thinking about. I'm using like 2 little ones, and I kind of like I do a lot of shapes for them, like what I do with Poi.
Oh, cool.
Instead of like doing that hip shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hip shit.
Leave the hip shit to the kids.
And the hot chicks.
That's a leave the
And-
hip shit to the
and
hot
the-
chicks
And the men.
All right.
and the men
And the men. And every
And-
woman.
and the children too.
This has been a goddamn.
They're like animals,
I'm just gonna.
and I slaughtered them like animals.
This has been goddamn
Why?
Coprolalia, boys. Let's do that. We're gonna Coprolalia, lolly, 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 lolly.
Sometimes I wonder why whales are mammals.
Did you just improvise that beat? This is fucking tight.